She sat across from me in our kitchen, peeling an orange like it was the most important thing in the world. That slow, careful movement, the way she kept her eyes down. Too focused on the fruit, not focused on me. That's how it started. Not with screaming, not with slammed doors or tears. Just silence and that damned orange. I watched her. Not because I was suspicious. Not yet. I watched her because something about her had started to shift. You know how a song you've heard 1,000 times suddenly sounds wrong when someone tweaks one note? That's what it felt like. Jess had always moved through the world with sharp edges. Always quick with comebacks, sarcasm, fire. Lately she'd gone quiet. Not soft. Just absent. Like I was watching a high-definition recording of her instead of the real woman. The smell of citrus mixed with the scent of that new body lotion she'd started using. Something floral, expensive, not the usual stuff from the drugstore. I noticed it 3 nights ago when I leaned in to kiss her, and she turned her cheek toward me instead of her lips. "Did you buy new lotion?" I asked now, breaking the silence. She shrugged. Still not looking at me. It was on sale. That was the first lie of the evening. Small. Harmless. But it landed like a thread that would eventually unravel the whole tapestry. I waited. Nothing more came. No question in return. No follow-up. No interest in my day. Just that orange. I pushed back from the table. I was supposed to meet my buddy Mark for a late dinner. We'd been working on a small business project together. But something about the way she was deliberately ignoring me made me cancel at the last second. I told him I was feeling off. That part was true. I stayed home. I waited. I pretended to scroll through my phone while watching her out of the corner of my eye. At exactly 8:26 p.m., her phone buzzed. She did not jump. She did not even smile. She just got up and walked out of the room with it. Still chewing the last slice of orange. Still not saying a word. Something about that made my ears ring. I stood, followed her as quietly as I could and stopped in the hallway. She was in our bedroom. Door cracked open. Sitting on the edge of the bed. Phone pressed to her ear. "I see you not talk long," she whispered. Then after a pause. "No. Yes, here." Another pause. Then I heard it. Crystal clear. "Go ahead. I've stopped caring." She breathed into her lover's ear. I did not move. I did not blink. The hallway felt like a frozen tunnel. My hand gripped the edge of the wall for balance. Because suddenly the floor did not feel reliable. I was not even angry yet. Not in that moment. I was outside of myself. Like I'd slipped into someone else's story and was not sure how to behave. She hung up and stepped out a minute later. Startled when she saw me. Not guilty. Startled. Like I was the one who'd crossed the line. "You scared me," she said flatly, brushing past me like I was an appliance in the way. "Who was that?" She did not even pause. "My sister is there to hear." I did not say a word. She finally turned. "What? You think I'm lying?" I did not nod. Did not deny it. Just kept looking at her. Then she did something that shocked me more than her phone call. She smiled. "Jesus," she said with a shake of her head. "You've really become one of those guys." "What guys?" "Paranoid. Weak. Clingy." She walked to the kitchen sink and began rinsing her hands. "If I wanted to cheat on you, Brad, I'd do it somewhere a little less obvious. Do not flatter yourself." But she already had. She was. I knew it. Still, I did not explode. I did not accuse. I let her walk off. I needed proof that night. I stayed awake. I heard her texting under the covers. I heard the soft clicks, the muffled buzz. She thought I was asleep. The next morning, I asked to borrow her phone, said I left mine in the car and needed to call Mark. She hesitated. Just a second, but a second too long. Then she smiled again and handed it to me. "Go ahead." Nothing in the messages. She deleted everything. Of course she had. But what she did not delete was her recently cleared browser history. And there it was. A map. Directions. To an address I did not recognize. 30 minutes away. Set for the previous night. She thought she was clever. She was not. I took the day off work. I waited until she left the house in that same cream trench coat she only wore when she wanted to feel powerful, or beautiful, or both. I followed her. I stayed 3 cars behind. I kept my distance. And that's when things turned from suspicion to confirmation. She pulled up to a gated condo building, dialed a number. The gate opened. She drove in. I waited 10 minutes. Then I called the number she used for the gate using a spoof app to make it look like a delivery service. A man answered. I introduced myself as a courier. Oh, she just got here, he said casually. Top floor. Number 32. Bring it up. She just got here. That was the moment. Right there. The orange. The perfume. The whisper on the phone. The web was spun. And I was the fly. I did not go up. Not yet. I needed a better plan. But that was the beginning. And next time. I'd walk through that door myself that I parked a few blocks away from the condo engine off my hands idle on the steering wheel. I did not shake. I did not rage. I felt clean, cold, like the moment before a storm breaks where everything is still and humming under your skin. Top floor. Number 32. She'd gone to him by choice. She drove there in my car in a coat I bought her last Christmas. The one she fake cried over because no one ever picked out something so thoughtful. I waited an hour long enough to know she had not just dropped by long enough to rip off any last thread of benefit of the doubt. When she got home later that evening, she smelled like the same body lotion. But layered now with cologne I did not own, different, not strong, just present. She walked in with takeout bags, Thai food my favorite, sat them on the counter like it was any other Thursday. I thought we could eat in, she said. You've been stressed lately. I played along. Work's been insane, I replied. Hard to think straight. She looked up briefly and gave me a smile so plastic I could have snapped it in half. We sat. We ate. She asked questions, small talk stuff forced and unnatural. I gave her short answers. I think she noticed the change in my tone. Because halfway through her noodles, she reached across the table and touched my hand. Are we okay? She asked like a concerned wife, like she had not spent the afternoon tangled up in another man's sheets. I looked at her long and hard. I wanted to ask her why I wanted to throw the food against the wall, shove the chair back, scream. Instead, I squeezed her hand. We're fine. I said that night when she slept. I went through her things, not her phone to clean. I checked the inside of her gym bag, the zipped inner pocket of her purse, found a receipt folded twice from a wine shop near that condo complex, date stamped same day, 2 bottles, a man's name in the loyalty account, pick up for Nathan, not a colleague, not a friend, not a cousin. And now I had a name. The next day, I made a new email account. I wrote a message, polite and direct. I think we may have someone in common. Jessica. I did not expect a reply. Cheaters do not usually want to be pen pals. But he did respond. Who is this? I answered her husband, no response for a full day. Then he wrote back, did not know she was married. Thought you were separated. Classic. The fallback defense, the one they all reach for when they realize they've been helping someone else's wife tear a life to shreds. So I asked him a simple question. When's the next time you re-seeing her? He hesitated. I could tell. Then tonight, perfect. I did not tell him I'd be there too. I did not warn Jess either. Let them both walk into it clean. I drove to the condo complex just after sunset. This time, I walked in on foot, waited by the garage entrance. When Nathan pulled up, I stepped forward, cool as stone. He lowered his window. You must be Brad, he said, voice tight. Let us go upstairs. I replied, I'd rather we all talk. He hesitated. I could see him weighing the odds. unsure if this would end in a punch or a conversation. I did not raise my voice. Did not look angry. Just determined. So he let me in. She was already there. Barefoot in the middle of the living room. Wine glass in hand. The look on her face when she saw me walk in behind him. That was the moment I'll never forget. Not fear. Not guilt. Annoyance. Are you serious? She said, not even trying to cover herself with a blanket or an excuse. What, you restalking me now? I laughed. Just one short, sharp breath. You lied, I said, walking toward her. You told him we were separated. Nathan raised his hands. Look, man. I held a finger up. You not who I'm here for. She crossed her arms, not even blinking. I told you, I stopped caring. I repeated her words from the other night. Go ahead. I've stopped caring, I said, my voice dropping. She had the nerve to smirk. You have no idea what it's like living with someone like you, she hissed. All you do is work and whine and act like I owe you something just because you put a ring on my finger. Nathan stepped away slowly, fading toward the hallway. I gave you everything, I said, time, money, loyalty. You threw it away for what? You were not enough, she snapped. That's the truth. You want honesty? There it is. You became small. Predictable. He made me feel alive again. The words hit like bricks. But I did not flinch. You could have said something, I replied. She shrugged. You would not have listened. You never really hear me, Brad. Silence stretched like wire between us. Nathan awkwardly picked up his jacket. I'll let you to handle this, he mumbled, then slipped out the door like a coward. She did not try to stop him. We stared at each other, two people in the burning wreckage of a life we built. I did not scream. Did not beg. I just walked to the door. You'll hear from my lawyer tomorrow, I said. Pack your things before the weekends. She did not chase me. Did not cry. She poured another glass of wine and turned away. And that was part 2. The beginning of the end. That I did not go home that night. I drove around for hours with no real destination. The city blurring into a smear of traffic lights and neon signs I did not recognize. Everything looked unfamiliar. Like I'd been dropped into some alternate version of my life where none of the rules made sense anymore. My phone buzzed a few times, 2 missed calls from her, no voicemails, then nothing. I ended up at a motel off the interstate, one of those places that smells like cleaning chemicals and cigarette ghosts. I paid cash. The guy behind the desk did not even look up. Just slid me the key card like we were both pretending I was not running from something. The room was cold and ugly. Fake wood paneling, buzzing light, stained carpet that looked like it held every story ever whispered in that space. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall for maybe an hour, maybe longer. I do not even remember blinking. Then I did something I told myself I would not. I opened her social media. Nothing looked off. That was the genius of it. All those pictures still up. Sunset photos of us on the coast. Her kissing my cheek with captions like my forever person. There was even one from 2 weeks ago with her hand in mine. Our wedding rings catching the light. I remembered that moment. We were at a friend's baby shower. She made me hold her hand all afternoon like we were teenagers in love. She was already sleeping with him by then. I stared at that photo until my vision blurred. And then I made the mistake of scrolling down to the comments. People writing things like couple goals and you guys are the real deal. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I did not know what else to do. Somewhere between 3 and 4 a.m. I remembered the little storage box she kept in the back of our closet. I had not thought about it in years. It had old birthday cards, movie tickets, little notes I'd written her when we were first dating. I once wrote her a letter on the back of a bar napkin after she got a flat tire on the freeway, telling her she was the strongest person I knew. I bet she kept it. I had to know. I drove back to the house while it was still dark, parked down the street, and walked up to my own front door like a stranger. I still had my keys, still had the right. The house was silent. She was asleep on the couch, wrapped in a blanket like she did not have a care in the world, an empty wine glass on the coffee table. The TV was playing some nature documentary on mute polar bears stalking seals on ice. I slipped past her into the bedroom, opened the closet, moved the winter coats aside, found the box. It was still there. I sat cross-legged on the floor and opened it. She had kept the napkin and the cards and the photos, all of it, but tucked between them near the bottom was something new. Printed photo, not one ID taken. It was her and Nathan taken outside that condo building. She was leaning against his car. He was holding her face in both hands like she was something precious. She was smiling, not her camera smile, her real one, the smile I had not seen in over a year. There was a handwritten note on the back. 2 words. It's you. I do not remember breathing for a while after that. The next morning, she woke up to find me sitting at the kitchen table, the photo placed in front of her face down. She blinked at it, still groggy. You came back. Not to stay, I said. She sat down across from me. No attempt to touch the picture. I figured. I nodded. You in love with him? She did not answer right away. Then she said, it does not matter anymore. That's not what I asked? She looked at me. Finally, really looked. Yes, she said quietly. I am. I felt it settle in me like lead. So when you said you stopped caring? That was not just about us, was it? She did not flinch. It was about me. I stopped caring about who I was when I was with you. The air left my lungs. I stood. Then we done here. She followed me to the door. Not to stop me. Just to say one last thing. I'm not sorry, Brad. Not the way you want me to be. I tried to be someone for you. I'm not. And I hate who I became. I did not say goodbye. I did not look back. That was the moment I stopped being her husband and started being something else that I spent the next 2 days in a sort of blackout. Not the drunk kind, the disassociation kind. My body went through the motions. Shower, coffee, emails, polite nods to co-workers who could not tell anything was wrong. But in my head, it was all static. Like I was on a stage acting out some guy named Brad's life while the real me hovered just outside my own skin, waiting for something to make sense again. I did not tell anyone. Not at first. You'd be surprised how many people you can be fine around when you've had a few years of practice. But by the 3rd night, I cracked, called my best friend, Eli, who I had not seen in weeks. He picked up on the 2nd ring. And I swear, all I said was, "Can I come over?" And the man did not even hesitate. He had beer waiting, 2 folding chairs on his apartment balcony, and did not ask a single question for 10 full minutes after I arrived. Just handed me the drink, sat beside me, and stared out at the city skyline like we were 22 again, and the world still made sense. I did not warm up to it slowly. I told him everything. Every word she said, every photo, the scent of the lotion, Nathan, the lies, the fight, the note on the back of the picture. It's you. When I finished, Eli just leaned back, exhaled slow and said, well, she's a different breed of monster. I did not laugh. I did not even smile. But I felt something loosen inside me. Finally, someone else had looked at her, and saw the same thing I did. A performance, a betrayal dressed up like empowerment, a woman who did not just cheat. She wanted to be caught because it gave her a reason to finally burn everything down. Eli looked at me. You want to ruin her? No, I said, I want the truth to do it for me. The next morning I got serious. I remembered something from a few weeks back. An email she asked me to forward from her work account to her personal one. She was having trouble logging in. She said I found it strange at the time because Jess never asked for help with tech. But I did it. Now it made sense. I searched my own email for it, and found a trail I had not noticed before. A thread between her and someone named Megan L. I clicked it open, not knowing what I'd find. What I read made my blood chill. Megan was Nathan's sister. Turns out Jess and Megan had known each other first. friends from a marketing workshop a year ago. Jess had gone to drinks with her, stayed connected, slowly worked her way into that circle. And then about 5 months ago, she wrote Megan this: "You were right. He not like the others. It's weird. But I actually feel seen around him. Brad would never understand." Megan had responded with something just as awful. "Told you, you need to stop pretending you re the wife type. You re not. You need someone who makes you feel like you again. Not someone who drags you down with taxes and routines. Taxes and routines. That's what I'd become to her. A checklist, a desk calendar, background noise. I printed it all. Emails, photos, screenshots, every timestamp, every location pin. I did not want revenge. I wanted clarity, a final record. I did not want to ever wonder, was it me? Was there something I missed? Because I had not missed a thing. She'd made the decision cold and calculated. But I was not done. I called her boss, not because I wanted her fired. I needed the truth confirmed. Jess worked in PR. She managed accounts, ran campaigns, polished images. She'd once told me she'd never mixed business with her personal life. Bad optics. She'd said turns out she was seeing Nathan on company time. There were calendar appointments blocked out as client relations that matched the time she was sneaking off to his condo. And guess what? Nathan was not even in her professional network. She made up a client profile for him. Fabricated it. Her boss, Allison, was stunned and pissed. "Are you saying she falsified hours for personal reasons?" Allison asked. "I'm not saying anything. Just forwarding you what I found." Allison did not say another word. The next day, Jess called me in a panic. "You went to my job," she barked the second I picked up. "You went to someone else's bed," I said calmly. She hissed something under her breath. "Then, do you know what you've done?" "No," I said. "But I think you do." Then I hung up. I was still in the house. We had not filed anything official yet. But that night, when I got home, I found her key on the table. Her drawers empty. A note scribbled on the back of a grocery list. "Congrats. You got your drama. I'm done pretending to care." That was it. No apology. No closure. Just the end of her performance. I looked around at the empty spaces in the closet, the silence in the air, and realized something unexpected. I felt relieved, not heartbroken, not angry, relieved. Because now I knew. I finally knew who I'd been sleeping next to 2 days after she left. I came home from work and found the front door unlocked. The first I thought maybe I'd forgotten. My head had been in a fog lately. Sleep still unreliable. Appetite gone. But when I walked in and saw the stack of mail move from the hallway table to the counter and a cup in the sink that had not been there that morning, I froze. She had been here. She still had the garage code. Of course she did. I checked the bedroom, the bathroom, nothing missing, nothing new. But there on the bed, like a taunt, was one of her scarves. The red one. She used to wear it on date nights when she wanted to be noticed. She'd left it in the center of the bed like a calling card. I did not call her. I did not ask why she came back. I just changed the garage code, the locks, and called a locksmith to make sure the windows had not been tampered with. That night I did not sleep. I just kept thinking, why the scarf? Not a note. Not a text. A scarf. Was she trying to provoke me? Make me think she'd been with Nathan and brought something of mine there. Then brought something of hers back here to contaminate it again? Or was it nostalgia? Doubt is a sickness. It crawls in through cracks in logic and settles behind your eyes. And Jess, she knew exactly how to weaponize it. The next morning I got my answer. I received an email from Megan, Nathan's sister, subject line "You deserve to know." She wrote, "Brad, I found out what she told him and me. She said you were emotionally manipulative, controlling, that you cheated first, that you were going to therapy to fix what you broke. She said you hit her once? I do not know what to believe anymore. But I know she lied to someone. Maybe everyone. I'm sorry. Megan, I read the email 3 times before I even reacted. And then I laughed. Not a bitter, angry laugh. A stunned, short laugh. The kind you let out when the last piece finally clicks into place, and you realize the entire picture was upside down. She was rebuilding her narrative. She did not just cheat. She constructed a new identity while doing it. She needed to justify it. Not just to herself. To Nathan. To his sister. To anyone who might call her out. She did not leave because she fell in love with someone else. She left because she needed someone to believe she had a reason to destroy everything. I wanted to respond to Megan's email. I wanted to say no. None of that is true. But I did not. Instead, I attached the screenshots of the photo, the message, her admissions. I sent it without commentary. Megan replied an hour later. She told Nathan you threatened her. That you'd ruin her life if she ever left you. She said you were unstable, that you'd go nuclear. But now, I do not think she is who I thought she was. Nathan sent me an email the next day. Just one sentence. I did not know. I'm sorry. I did not reply. There was nothing left to say. They were both poisoned by her lies. But at least now they could taste it. But here's the twist, the thing I did not see coming. Jess did not disappear. She leaned in. 3 days later, she showed up at my office. No warning. No call. Just walked into the lobby like she still had a right to exist in my orbit. The receptionist paged me in a panic. There's a woman here, Jessica. She says it's urgent. I walked down curious. I did not plan to cause a scene. I just wanted to see her face in the light of everything exposed. She stood there in a navy blazer and heels. Hair done like she had not missed a beat. Like betrayal was just another item on her to-do list. When she saw me, she gave me the same look she'd once reserved for restaurant hosts who forgot her reservation. I need to talk to you, she said quietly about what she stepped closer. This has gotten out of hand. That's what she called it. This is not a story you get to control anymore. I said. Her eyes flickered. You think you've won? You think making me look crazy gives you closure? No, I said. But watching you scramble for damage control is surprisingly therapeutic. She stiffened. Nathan blocked me. Smart man. She lowered her voice. You want to burn my whole life down? No, I said. You did that already. I just turned the lights on so everyone could see. She did not move. Just stood there. Breathing hard. Searching my face for a flicker of weakness. A crack. Some old habit of care. She did not find it. Goodbye, Jess. I turned and walked back to the elevator. I did not look back. She did not follow that night. I opened a new document on my computer and started writing everything down. Not for revenge, not for therapy. For me to build a record of the truth before it ever got twisted again. Because sometimes the worst thing they take from you is not your peace or your love. It's your version of the story. I kept writing. Every night after work, after the small talk with coworkers, after the frozen dinners and the too quiet living room, I sat at my desk and documented everything. It was not even for court. I had not filed anything yet. I was not ready for lawyers or settlements, or the sickening logistics of dividing a life like a pie chart. I wrote because I needed to see it. Not just remember, not just feel it. I needed to look it in the eye. Every detail, every shift in her voice, every lie dressed up as mercy. It became a ritual. The only one that still made sense. On the 7th night, I got a call from a number I did not recognize. I let it ring out. Then it rang again. I answered on the 3rd try. Brad, a woman's voice, soft, nervous. This is him. I'm sorry to call. But I did not know who else. Who is this? Pause. Then my name is Tasha. I do not think we've met. But I used to date Nathan. I stood up so fast, my chair tipped backward. How did you get my number? From Megan, I asked her after I found out. Found out what? That your wife. She has done this before. Silence. I did not breathe. Not for a full 10 seconds. Say that again. I said she had something with Nathan before. Before me. 2 years ago. It did not last. He told me about it once. Said it was a mistake. She was too much. But he left out the part where she was married. She was not married to me 2 years ago. No, Tasha said. But she was engaged to someone else. Not you. Someone before you. I sat down. You sure it's the same Jess? Red hair? Sharp eyes? Always plays the victim when she does not get her way. Yes, I thought I was going crazy, Tasha whispered. She messaged me once from a burner account. Said I'd never understand Nathan. That I was too safe. That I did not challenge him. Like love was some kind of obstacle course. I rubbed my face. Why are you telling me this now? Because you read the first person who is not afraid of her. And because you deserve to know what kind of pattern this is. Pattern. The word sank its teeth in. Jess had not just betrayed me. She had a method. A routine. She'd done this before. She practiced. We talked for an hour. She told me about the night Jess cornered her at a bar. Told her Nathan would never love her. Told her men do not want comfort. They want chaos. Told her that safe was the death of passion. She is obsessed with control, Tasha said. But she wears it like freedom. That's the trick. I thanked her. Hung up. Sat in the dark for a long time. Then I pulled out my laptop and created a new document. Timeline. Jess's pattern. I mapped it out. Met Nathan year 1. Dated briefly. Left him. Got engaged to another man. Year 2. Affair with someone else, broke that engagement. Met me year 3. Moved fast. Love bombing, vows within a year. Year 4. Emotional withdrawal. Year 5. Nathan returns. Year 5. Affair reignited. Year 6. Implosion. A web. A loop. I was just one spoke in the wheel. The next day, I got an alert on my phone. A charge on our joint credit card. One I had not cancelled yet. Spa package. Not cheap. Jess's name on the account. It was a spark. Small but hot. I called the spa. Asked who the appointment was for. Said I'd lost the confirmation email. Oh, the receptionist said, it's for Jessica and her guest. Name on the guest. Nathan, of course, I did not cancel it. I forwarded the confirmation to Nathan's work email. Then replied to the thread I'd left cold since that one-liner apology from him. Just 4 words. Guess she got over you. No response. But 5 hours later, the charge was reversed. The game was still on. Jess was not just unashamed. She was accelerating, rewriting the narrative, in real time, making me the villain, painting herself the survivor of a marriage so suffocating she had to set fire to it just to breathe. But here's where things turned again. The next morning I got an email from Jess. Subject line: we need to talk one last time. She invited me to meet her at a cafe. Neutral ground, daylight, public. I said yes. Not because I wanted reconciliation. Because I wanted to look her in the face one last time and confirm the thing I'd come to suspect, that she never broke. She was never broken. She just wanted to make sure I was. I arrived 10 minutes early. The cafe just chose was one of those curated overpriced places with minimalist decor and chalkboard menus and little pots of succulents on every table. The kind of place where everything looks effortless but costs 3 times more than it should. She picked it for a reason. She always did. She wanted a stage. She walked in 2 minutes late on purpose. I knew her timing like I knew my own heartbeat. Every move she made was calculated for effect. She wore black, of course, slim black coat, sunglasses. Her hair pinned back just enough to say I'm composed without trying too hard. She spotted me, walked over slowly like it was a runway, did not say hello, just took off her sunglasses and sat across from me. I almost did not come. she said, folding her hands like this was some kind of legal negotiation. You invited me. She tilted her head. Eyes sharp. Curiosity got the better of me. I'm not here to apologize. I said. I did not expect you to. We stared at each other across the little table. Sugar packets between us like a silent mediator. Then she smiled. Small, deliberate. That same smirk she wore the night she came home smelling like someone else's world. I heard you've been busy. She said. Emails, phone calls, Megan, Nathan, even Tasha. I said nothing. She leaned back, crossing her legs. I have to admit, I underestimated you. Yeah, a lot of people did, including me. She laughed under her breath. You angry? No, I said. Anger implies I still want something from you. She narrowed her eyes. That stung her. She did not expect that line. Then she dropped the pretense. Look, she said, voice low. I know what you're doing. You're recollecting, building a story, a timeline, a little archive of the evil woman who broke your heart. No, I said calmly, I'm building a record for when you try to rewrite it. That made her sit up straighter. She hated when I stayed calm. It was the only thing she could not manipulate. So what now? She asked. You gonna sue me for emotional damage? Go public with your sob story. I do not need to. I said. You're unraveling just fine on your own. That hit hard. She blinked. Her lips parted just barely. For the first time in a long time, I saw her mask slip. Not for long. Just a flicker. But it was enough. She exhaled, picked up her coffee cup, took a sip she did not want. I did not love you the way you wanted to be loved. She said finally. I would not apologize for that. No, I said. You loved yourself through me until I was not useful anymore. Another flicker. You were boring, she said, safe, predictable. I needed more. You needed chaos, I replied, and a mirror. She looked away. The silence stretched again. Tight and brittle. Then she said something I did not expect. You know, he dumped me. Nathan, she nodded, still looking off, said he did not want to be the next me versus Brad project. I did not smile. I did not feel joy. I felt confirmation, like a final piece falling into place. So what is this? Jess asked, a warning, a threat, a confession. She looked back at me, eyes colder now. This is a detour, she said. Before I decide how far I want to take this, that was the admission. She was not broken. She was not sorry. She was plotting. Always had been. You do not get to own the truth, she said softly. That's not how people remember things. No, I agreed. They remember what hurts loudest. Then I stood up, put on my coat, pushed my chair back in. She did not stop me. Just watched, expression, unreadable now. At the door I turned. Oh, and the scarf. I said, nice touch. Almost made me miss you for a second. She stared, but did not respond. I walked out into the cold, sharp air, not looking back. Outside my phone buzzed. It was from Megan. One sentence. She's contacting my fiancé now. Of course she was. Of course she was. The pattern was not just repeating. It was spreading. She did not want a man. She wanted devotion. And when she could not have it any more, she burned the temple down and danced in the ash. That I did not answer Megan right away. I just stood on the sidewalk, holding my phone, watching the little gray clouds of my breath vanish into the air like the last few remnants of patience I had left. Of course Jess was contacting her fiancé. Of course she was. She'd lost control of Nathan. She'd been exposed to Tasha. I cut her off completely. Megan had the nerve to show a sliver of solidarity with me. So naturally, Jess had to punish her next. That was her currency: chaos. Intimacy was just the gateway. Once she was inside your world, she did not want love. She wanted to dominate the narrative. I called Megan's straight voice, no text. She picked up after one ring. She sent him screenshots. She said before I even spoke out of context stuff. Messages from me to you, trying to make it look like we've been having an emotional affair or something. I exhaled. What did he say? He asked, confused. She admitted. But he knows me. He said, I do not think that woman is telling the truth. He is not stupid. But it s planted a seed. That s all just needed. She did not need full destruction. She just needed erosion. If she could not kill the foundation, she'd make sure it never felt stable again. She is not done. I said, I know, I'm sorry. No, Megan said, I let her in too. I just did not know what kind of animal I was feeding. We hung up. No plan. Just understanding. That is all I had left with anyone now. People scattered in the wake of Jess's orbit. Dazed survivors comparing notes in the rubble. That night I started to make preparations. No more passivity. I was done being the guy who got hit and analyzed the angle of the punch. I called my lawyer time to file. We talked before briefly. Now it was real. She said, contested. I laughed under my breath. With Jess, everything is contested. We drew up the documents clean, sharp, no fluff. I served her 2 days later. She refused the envelope, said, and I quote, tell him to have his lawyer send it through the proper channels. I'm not his secretary. The process server said she was wearing gym clothes and sipping a smoothie when she said that she was unfazed, barely blinked. I figured she'd counter with demands half the house, the car, some fabricated debts. She did not. Instead, she posted a photo on social media the next morning, her on a beach alone, captioned, healing, rebuilding, protecting my peace. And suddenly everyone came crawling out of the woodwork. Text from old friends, is everything okay with you too? I saw her post. I did not know you guys split. She seems really broken up. Hope you're doing alright. She was painting herself as the abandoned one. The survivor, I could see it happening in real time. She de-weaponized pain, not her own mind. And everyone was falling for it. So I started planning my last move, not revenge, not exposure, a record. I met with a friend of mine who works in media, not press, not gossip, just digital strategy. He owed me a favor. I asked him for help building a private page, not public, just a space where I could document it all. The timeline, a digital vault, receipts, her messages, her contradictions, the truth, dates, screenshots, photos. Every time she twisted the knife, I archived it. I did not post it. Did not share it. Not yet. But it existed. Because I knew the storm was not over. And right on cue, 3 days later, I got a letter in the mail, not from her lawyer, claiming emotional distress, claiming I had engaged in a pattern of harassment by contacting parties in her personal and professional life, claiming I had created a hostile environment and caused her undue psychological harm through the retaliatory weaponization of private material. And here was the kicker. She was demanding a cease and desist. I laughed so hard I nearly choked. She lit the match, burned the house, threw the ashes in my face. And now she was saying I was the fire. But I did not panic. I sent one message to her lawyer through mine, happy to comply upon confirmation that your client will likewise cease contact, direct or indirect, with myself and any affiliated persons, including but not limited to Megan Redacted, Nathan Redacted and associated family members. We did not hear back because silence is what she fears most. No audience, no fight, no stage. That's when she starts to unravel. And it was already happening. Nathan blocked her again. Megan sent me a photo. Jess's burner account had tried to follow her fiancé twice in 24 hours. She was spiraling, but quietly, like a bomb, no one heard tick. And I knew I was not her obsession anymore. I was her reflection. And she hated it. A week passed. No new emails, no burner account follow requests, no mutual friends sliding into my DMs to say, hey, she seems like she is really hurting right now. Nothing should have felt like peace. But silence like that, total calculated silence, is not peace. It is pressure, like standing inside a sealed room and realizing the air is running out. I knew Jess knew how she worked. When she went quiet, it was not surrender. It was strategy. And I was right. On Thursday morning, I got a voicemail from an unknown number. Short, female voice, shaky too. I do not know if I should be calling. But my name is Lena. I think you read Brad. Well, Jessica told me you were dangerous. She said if anything happened to her, it'd be your fault. But something feels wrong. I think I need to talk to you. I sat down slowly, heart pounding, but not out of fear, out of recognition. Jess had found her new audience. New man, maybe new friend, possibly it did not matter. What mattered was this. She was laying groundwork. Again, preemptive strike. If anything happens to me, it's his fault. I did not call Lena back right away. I waited. Duck found her social media brand designer, lives downtown, recently divorced, 2 kids, photos from 3 weeks ago, just tagged in a dinner party at her place. Caption: rebuilding one real connection at a time. Of course, she latched on to someone else rebuilding, found another open wound to crawl into. I bet Jess was playing therapist now. Sitting across from Lena on wine nights saying things like, "You're not crazy. People just make you feel like you are so they do not have to listen." It was her favorite script. The only difference this time, I was ready. I saved the voicemail, logged the timestamp. Then I called my lawyer. I want a paper trail, I said, in case she starts spinning something legally. He sighed. You think she will? She's already laying the bricks. He agreed. We added a note to the case file. I finally called Lena back. I did not accuse. I did not threaten. I just asked questions. How do you know Jess? She's been coming to my women's circle. It's a support-based, informal. And what has she said about me? Long pause. She said you manipulated her, that you were obsessed, that you were gathering evidence to humiliate her publicly, that you might be dangerous, that you follow her. My voice was steady when I replied. Lena, I have not spoken to Jess in over a week. She served me a cease and desist for harassment, then started following my friends' families. She cheated on me. I have records, timelines, conversations. Hell, I have her voice admitting it to the man she cheated with. Silence on the other end. Then she did not mention that. No, I said, because if she did, she would not be the survivor anymore. Lena's voice dropped to a whisper. She told me she needed protection. I almost laughed. From what? Consequences. I do not know who to believe, she admitted. I did. Because belief was not the issue. Pattern was, told her I'd send over any documentation she wanted, left the ball in her court. And then I updated the vault. Lena now had a file. 2 days later, I got an email. No subject line, no body text, just a single attachment, a screenshot, just group chat titled, How We Take Our Power Back. All women. All with something in common. Ex-friends, divorces. And right there in the chat, my name. Brad's trying to make me out as the villain. Again, I think he's trying to bait me into court. If anything happens, I want it on record. One of the women replied, Want us to say something? Post something subtle? We've got your back. Another, You should not have to feel afraid. Let us call him out first. Before he spins it. There it was. The final form. Not just manipulation. Not just lying. Orchestration. Campaign. I forwarded it to my lawyer. He called back within 5 minutes. She starts that fire, we go public. I'll get you an injunction if she escalates. I did not answer right away. Because deep down I was torn. Part of me still did not want this to be a war. But you see, not make peace with someone who sets your house on fire and then hands you a glass of water like that makes you even. So I nodded. Quiet. Cold. Let her post. I said finally. Let her build her army. Why? Because when the truth hits, it'll be the last thing she ever gets to control. 3 days later, she posted it. A blurry black and white photo of her standing by the window in someone's apartment. Probably Lena's, with a long, emotionally engineered caption that was pure Jess. There's something so lonely about surviving quietly. I've stayed silent through threats, through stalking, through the unraveling of a man who promised to protect me. I've kept my truth inside because I did not want to be that woman. But silence protects the wrong people. I was never perfect, but I never deserved what happened after I left. I did not deserve to be hunted. Within minutes the comments flooded in. "You're so brave. Stay strong, Queen. Tell your story. We believe you." My name was not in the post. Not directly. But it did not need to be. Everyone knew. And that's when I realized this was her masterpiece. Not the affair, not the gaslighting, not even the manipulation of friends and lovers. This narrative, the one where she is the phoenix, rising from the ashes of a marriage she intentionally torched. She did not want to be forgiven. She wanted to be applauded. She was not healing. She was performing. I waited, watched it spread. I received 4 text messages that day, 2 from old acquaintances, 1 from a mutual friend, and 1 from a woman I did not even know. All dancing around the same phrase, "Just checking in." Meaning, is it true? Meaning, she finally said something. "What's your move?" So I made it. I posted once, just once, no photos, no aesthetics, no drama, just truth, clean, undeniable. There are 2 sides to every story. And then there's the timeline. She initiated contact with the man she later claimed rescued her 6 months before she moved out. She told 3 different people 3 different stories about our marriage, depending on what she needed from them. She fabricated a workplace relationship to hide the affair. She left me a note saying, "Congrats, you got your drama. I'm done pretending to care." And now she's rewriting the ending. I have no interest in winning. I only care about remembering things as they really happened. I attached no receipts. Did not need to. Because the people who mattered, they'd already seen them. What happened next was not explosive. It was erosion, subtle, quiet. The likes on her posts slowed, the comments turned vague. A few disappeared entirely. One woman DM'd me privately. She said the same thing to me 3 years ago, almost word for word. Megan reached out again. So did Nathan. She asked, trying to get Lena to go to HR at your job. Megan wrote, "She emailed me pretending to be someone else." Nathan said, "Asking about you?" It was desperation now flailing because Jess had made one fatal error. She thought she could cast herself as the wounded protagonist in every story, but eventually stories run out of paper. And that's what this was now, a story. So I finished it, filed for divorce under emotional fraud, included the emails, the voicemail from Lena, the burner accounts, the digital timeline, the group chat leak. My lawyer read through everything, then looked at me across the table and said, "She's going to lose her mind." I know. Is that what you want? No. I said, I want to never think about her again. He nodded. This will do it. And it did. We did not go to court. She folded the second she saw what was waiting in the discovery phase. No alimony, no statement, no attempt to countersue, just one final message through her lawyer. "Tell him I hope he finds peace." That was the most honest thing she ever said, because that's what I had now. Finally, fully peace. It did not look like a dramatic ending. There was no scene, no applause, no moral high ground, just silence. And this time, the good kind. I still think about her sometimes, not with love, not with hate, with clarity. She did not destroy me. She revealed herself. And I think that's the cruelest thing someone like her can experience. Being seen, all the way through, no mystery left, no mask untouched. So if you're rereading this and you where I was, save your proof, speak softly. And when it's time to end the story, do not scream, just publish, because nothing terrifies them more than a truth they see and not rewrite.